We're awesome that way.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. We are live at Memory Bound. Good morning, everyone. And it's a wonderful Thursday morning here in Iowa. And we're happy you're joining us. We've got Peggy here.
Morning.
Hello, Peggy.
Hello.
I was just admiring your shirt.
Shirt.
Your fall
For
shirt.
fall. Yeah, has
your
my
name.
favorite things, football. Okay,
Oh, it
pumpkin
does have
spice isn't
football.
maybe my favorite, but you know, I can go with that.
How about pumpkin without the spice?
I can do
I'd
the
be
pumpkin,
okay with
yep.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I do like pumpkin pie, but it has to have a lot of whipping cream.
Yeah,
the real
bars,
stuff.
Pumpkin bars
Pumpkin
with cream
bars
cheese
with
frosting.
cream cheese frosting.
Yeah. That's
So
a
I
favorite.
like pumpkin stuff, but they
Yep.
require some other thing, you know,
Yep.
the good stuff also.
Exactly.
So we've got a lot of people joining us, and
Oh,
you're going to
good,
be
good, good,
really
good.
glad you are, because today Peggy's here, and if you remember, Penny was here last week, and I was here a couple weeks ago, and we have taken cards that I received. I'm Kellie at Memory Bound, by the way. Cards I received from friends, family, and customers who are friends a year ago when I fractured my ankle, and one of them we are showing today is from Bonnie. And in the comments, Peggy, I put gold paper Bonnie.
Yes. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Because that's her trade.
Yes, that's her signature.
Her signature is the gold metallic paper, and this is the card I received, and Peggy's going to tell you more about it. And Peggy, we have a lot of people commenting they can't wait for the weekend.
Oh, me too. Me too. Camp Memory Bound.
It is Camp Memory Bound this weekend. We
Yes.
have a big retreat out at the Marriott here in Ankeny, and about 140 people are joining us to craft all
I can't
weekend
wait to
long.
see them all in the store too. So
I
that'll be
know.
exciting.
Hopefully, if you're coming, stop and see us at the store. PJ says she's on her way to Ankeny.
Yay.
Judy says good morning.
Safe travels to all.
Yeah, we want safe travels. It's going to be a wonderful forecast all weekend long.
Yes.
It's going to be a forecast, I think I said, of fun, craftiness, friends, and good temperatures. So before we get started, a couple things to tell you about. First of all, we had a craft along yesterday with Chris.
Wasn't that fun?
And Chris is what we call our paper engineer. And she showed us how to make these boxes. There's 2 sizes. And if you didn't watch it live, go back and you can watch it later. And you will be amazed that you can do it. And that's what I love about Chris.
She always makes what looks so difficult seem so simple.
I know.
Just makes it easy.
She brings in things like this box, and I'm like, oh boy, that's way over my head. But after watching her video, I can do it.
Yeah.
I can definitely do it. Oh, you know what? I just saw, it went by quickly, but it is Ruby's birthday today.
Well, happy birthday,
So
Ruby.
happy birthday to Ruby.
Yay.
Let's see, what's the date? September 26th. I feel like it's, okay, it is our grandson's birthday. I'm like, okay, I know I've got a birthday. It's our grandson's birthday today, too. So it's a great day. The other thing we want to just remind you about that our special of the week is this Big Frights die set from Tim Holtz and Sizzix. And it's normally $24.99, and it is only $12.99. And we do have a few left. So if you didn't get in on the deal, we've got a few left.
It's a fun set.
It is really fun. They're big words,
Yep.
which must be why they're called Big Fright. But you also get all these other fun little icons.
You know, they're a
with
good
it.
size. I mean, they're big words, but they work on cards. They'll work on a coaster. They'll work on layouts. They're very versatile.
They're good for a lot of things. And Penny took the eek, and she cut apart the letters.
That was
So,
fun.
and that looked really, that looked really good. It was a great idea. All right, we got a lot of good mornings, a lot of people joining us. Before we get started with Peggy, I'm just going to take a spin around because Maggie's done it again.
Yes.
She has cleaned out our cupboards with all of our projects that maybe you've seen on a video here in the morning, live or later, or projects that have been parts of kits. And she has 2 tables filled with mostly holiday things. And all the proceeds to these goes to the food bank here in Iowa, the local food bank. So if you're local, come on in and see us. Check out our sample sale flea market. And you can maybe pick up a project that you really love. And it also, for me, was a little trip down memory lane because I was remembering heat embossing this album from Simple Stories and how fun that was. And I'd also like to give a shout out to Angie, and that Angie is AKA Janine's daughter, and she donated a lot of cards and projects that she had made for this also. And the last time we did this, we raised like $800 for the food bank. So if you're local, come on in and check it out. If you're here for the weekend retreat, be sure and get over to the store and check it out. There's a lot of projects here and lots of cool stuff, and all the proceeds is going to a really good cause. Let's see, I'm missing all the comments. Oops. But I see Debbie and Linda are here, and Jan says her birthday's on Sunday. Lots of September birthdays.
Yes.
We've got our daughter-in-law and our grandson's birthdays are this month, and Becky says her grandson's birthday too, so is today. All right. Well, I'm a little out of breath now. We have a lot going on in the store today, everybody.
We really do.
And Jerry, thank you for the comment. She says she loves that we make a donation from these sales, but it's important. You know, we don't have to make the donation, but I think it's important. And there's been a lot of food shortages that I've been reading about, and I think this will help maybe a few people a little bit.
Right.
So thanks, Jerry. Oh, and Linda's here from Vancouver.
Oh, well, hello, Linda.
And Shannon, I saw her name just popped up in our feed. We have a feed that goes through here, but you guys, it goes really fast. So it's very easy to miss for sure. Let's see. Well, I think I don't see any questions, Peggy.
Okay. Alrighty.
And so tell us about what you're doing today. I
Well,
think we all want to know.
When Kelly first brought up the idea of using the cards that she had received after she fractured her ankle, and you know, using the design and creating projects with it and things like that, I was really excited about it, especially when I saw this card from Bonnie. This was the inspiration card. We refer to it as the diagonal. And I just love, one thing I love about Bonnie's work always is that there's always a metallic in there. She always uses a metallic paper.
It doesn't show on the camera
it's so
as much,
beautiful. It's so pretty on there. And so whenever I see a project like that, my mind instantly goes to Bonnie, because that is really her signature, I think. The other thing I really loved about it was that she was able to use so many different pattern papers without it looking too busy. She was able to combine all of that and then put the ephemera on the front. I just thought it was such a nice design, and it could be it could inspire so many different projects and it can be used in so many different ways. And so that's where I started, and it took off, and I loved using this. So Bonnie, thank you so much.
I don't know if took off, Peggy, is the right terminology, because Peggy made all kinds of projects, and you guys are going to love it. And thank you, Bonnie, again for the nice card. Peggy, I don't think I said this.
She was very inspiring.
She was, and I don't know if I mentioned, but I received 128 cards.
Oh my gosh!
I can't believe that was a year
Isn't
ago.
That wonderful?
It was very heartwarming, and I did shed a few tears now and then. And
we do have wonderful customers.
We
Every single
do.
customer is just.
We do.
They're
I felt
the
very lucky. So, and like I said, Peggy didn't just make the same card. No. She took the design and really ran with it. So you guys are going to love seeing what she's done.
Well, I wanted to share with our customers, you know, just the versatility of this design, and how you can, whether you use the design on a layout, or just use, you know, scraps left over from a layout, or just, you know, start with a 6x6 or something.
It is good for scraps, isn't it?
You can just use any paper that you have. You can use, you know, with this design. You need a 1/2-inch strip, and that's all you need. So and then you can just go. And that's one thing I loved. So I'm going to start.
Where do you want to start?
Let's
There's
start.
So much.
Oh gosh, where should we start? Let's start with harvest, because
Okay.
let's start with this one.
Okay.
Actually,
Or let's start here.
let's start here. Okay.
I don't know where to start.
So as I was doing, you know, I'm working with paper and things like that, and I was also thinking about different ways to do it. Well, if you have a supply of washi tape, like Gloria
is this
does,
washi?
this
Yeah,
is
like
all
Gloria.
washi tape. You know, if you're like Gloria and you collect washi tape, this is what I used on that. So, so many of our Simple Stories lines, it comes, with the washi tapes, or the Vicky Booten lines. You can get the coordinating washi tapes. The American Crafts lines, they have the washi tapes as well.
And you never use it all.
You never
always
use
have
it all,
leftovers,
so you have
this
some.
is a great way to use it.
And so that's what I used on this one. So this was one of the few sets of washi tape that I had, the complete set at home. So I thought, well, I'm going to use that. And so easy. So I just, started laying my strips right across that. And I'll show you how to lay some of this stuff down here in just a little bit when we get going on the demo.
That's really neat.
But it's just the washi tape. I used one of the ephemera pieces that came in this collection with, and I knew I needed the metallic, so I used that with the metallic and the gold stars. And then, this is an election year, so why not have a reminder to make sure you get out and vote, because we have that privilege. So that was that one. That was nice and quick and easy. Then Echo Park has this wonderful line called Harvest, or I guess it's Cartabella.
It is beautiful. It's beautiful.
Cartabella. It's gorgeous paper, and I decided that I was going to take the 6x6 pack, which is, I use the mega pack because that's what I happen to have at home. But I decided that I wanted to use this, but I also wanted to show the versatility of this line as well. And then I also had the ephemera package that I used. So those are the two things that I used from the Harvest line. And I was able to make 3 very different projects. So 2 cards and a coaster. So all from the same line. And so when you do buy, a 6x6 pack, or when you buy a collection pack, your projects don't all have to look alike just because you're using that same pack of paper or whatever. You can see through here that these 3 projects look very different. And it's just a matter of how you put the paper together, and I think that's an important thing. I'm going to grab this too.
I think that's amazing, Peggy, especially these 2.
Yeah, these 2 cards.
They're from the same collection, and you would never guess that.
Nope. But all that paper comes out of the Harvest collection. And so what I did with this is just, again, I talked about the 1/2-inch squares. And in this mega pack, you get a sheet that has word phrases on it. So I just cut one of the word phrases out. It was one of the longer phrases that I just cut out.
That's a good idea. And do you get 2 of everything, Peggy, or is it 3?
In the mega pack, you get 3.
3, and then the regular pack you get 2.
Yeah. And in the mega pack, you also get the solids, and that was why I kind of pulled the mega pack to begin with.
So she just took a word strip and used it as one of her strips. Yeah. And these are 1/2-inch strips.
1/2-inch strips. And I mean, this paper is just so pretty. You can just see how gorgeous it is.
So this is the Harvest
and so many
mega
different
pack.
I mean, would you really think about that pattern with pumpkins?
Black
but,
is really beautiful.
it goes. It just really goes. And so then when you get down to the solid papers here, you get one of these. There's your phrases. And so I just cut this one because I knew that it was going to be long enough to go across my card. And I kind of wanted those words on there. So that was my starting point with this card here. And then I just kind of stayed with kind of the golds and the darker colors in that collection to make this card. And again, it's, 1/2-inch strips.
A piece right on front,
yeah,
on the
right
top.
On the front. So just 1/2-inch strips is what I cut. Start in the middle and then build out is how I did it. And I'll show you guys how to do that too here in just a little bit. But then I just put the ephemera piece in the middle, and then I had some die cut pieces, and most of my pieces came from the fall wreath, the vault die set. You'll see that.
Can you look at the name of that on the back, Peggy?
It
I can't
is
remember.
called a vault foliage wreath.
Okay, vault foliage wreath. I knew if you told me I'd remember.
Right up there. So it's this flower right up here that I used right there. And then I just had a few little extra wispy little things that, I cut from the different colors. And that's all from the solids out of this collection too. And And so just kind of decorated that up, and that's how quick and easy that card came together. So this is really a very easy, quick way to make cards.
And beautiful.
And, you know, I have said in the past, I'm really not a card maker.
Yes.
Cards
And here
kind
you
of
are.
intimidate me. But as I was doing this, I'm thinking, oh, I'm becoming a card maker.
Peggy's going to be a card maker.
So I really enjoyed doing it, and I just, it just kept rolling. And I really had a lot of fun with these. And then I went, you know, with kind of the more muted tones in the collection. So more, you know, into the mauves and the pinks and the darker greens in here.
Crazy.
And,
that is so crazy.
You know, I mean, it was all in there, so why not? And I used the wreath, and I just cut it out twice with the two different colors of dark mauve solid paper in there, and just layered one over the top. A few little die cut pieces there, again, you know, with the flower and things.
Well, and that's the bonus of the mega pads, because you get the solids. You don't get those in the other ones.
Right, right.
So it's kind of worth it, because you didn't really need anything but the paper pad.
No, just the paper pad. That was all I had. You know, I did have some leftover pink cardstock that I thought matched this really well. Because I'd already used the pink from the solid. So I thought it matched really well to kind of base that in, or to mat that on before I put it in the card. But again, you know, start with that middle strip and then build out. I think on this one I did use 1/2 inch and 1/4 inch strips just to kind of vary it a little bit.
Closer. And Lisa said, Peggy, that this is how she did her Christmas cards last year.
Oh my gosh. Yes, you can mass
Wouldn't that be
produce them
fun?
so quickly, I think. I don't think any one of these cards took me more than about 15 minutes to make once I got started on them.
1/2 inch and 1/4 inch.
1/2 inch and 1/4
you
inch
mixed
is
it
what
up
I
a little
did.
bit.
Yep, just to give just a little bit of variation. But you see, if you stay with the 1/2 inch, it's just as pretty as if you mix them up. I
Yes.
mean, it just depends on what paper and the combination you put. So, I mean, this is wonderful. And then I decided that, well, if I can make cards, I can make a coaster, right?
Of course. Peggy, you were like really getting into
I was.
this.
And so again, you know, here we are. We're with this harvest collection. I just chose one of the floral pieces from the pad in here to be the base for the page. Let me find it here because it's just so pretty.
Yeah, they've got a couple of really pretty florals.
Yeah, they really do.
And in the mega pad, your patterns are going to be a little smaller than
They
the
are.
regular paper.
But they are just beautiful. Okay, I don't know where it went. But I did take it out of here.
We believe you.
Oh, right there. Okay.
Oh, there it is.
So there it is. So that was my base. And then if you guys remember a few weeks ago when Diane was here with her pumpkin patterns that she did with the Tim Holtz fabric, I started with that. I used her pumpkin pattern, and again, I just cut 1/2 inch strips of paper from the mega pad.
And then you cut out the
Cut out the pattern.
Oh my
laid
gosh.
laid them on there, you know, trimmed them off, put it all together, just like Diane did with her fabric. You know, I just trimmed it all off and put it on the coaster, popped it out with some dimensional tape just to give it some life.
That's so pretty. Oh
The
my gosh.
pine color vibe for the stem, a couple of die cut pieces there, a sticker, and tied it together. I mean, how quick and easy is that? It's just, I love how, even though, you know, we're talking about these burgundies with the oranges, they're fall, vibrant, bright colors, and so they all go together so well. So, and the other thing I tried to do with it, with the oranges, my diagonal stripe goes this way. With the burgundies, it goes that way. So
Oh, I'm
that
glad
just
you
gives it
pointed
a
that
little
out.
bit. That just gives it just a little bit of textural interest and visual interest as well. So just to kind of change it up, I did change the direction on that, which is again, you know, points to the versatility of this design. It doesn't always have to be in the same direction,
Peggy,
although I
that was
tended to
so-
go in the same direction
But that
with most
was so clever to
So,
take to make your pieces and then make it die cut them.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's not a die cut pattern, but
Yeah,
basically
I mean,
you could
you
die
lay
cut
it out
them.
and you cut it around it, and it works really well. So,
Very, very clever.
So
Everyone's
let's
loving
see.
this, Peggy, and Cheryl made a comment early on. She was so happy it's a Peggy day.
Oh, well, thank you,
So isn't that
Cheryl.
nice?
Thank you, Cheryl. I enjoy being here. It's always fun. I always love it when they say, hey, can you try this? And it's like, yeah, I'll do that. That's fun.
You've
We
done
can
some
do
new
it.
things
We
because you
can
did
do
the
it,
stencil
yeah.
butters.
Yep, did the
And now
stencil
some
butters.
cards, but you have some other things too.
We have some other things. Yep. I'm going to go to this tag next.
And don't go, oh my gosh.
I'm going to do this tag
Please
next
do.
because
That
it
is
was fun.
amazing. I didn't even realize that's how you made it.
Yep. So here's a tag. And what I started with was one of the big,
The number 10.
yep, one of the big tags there is what I started with.
So the Dina Wakely tags, you can still get the small ones, the number 8s in the 50 packs, but they are discontinuing them. But the good news is you can still get these assorted ones where you get 5 number 8 and 5 number 10, and they're only like $2.99. So I'm really happy about that. I'm happier about this though. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so this started because I thought, well, if I'm going to do, diagonal strips, what about trying to do like kind of an ombre look? And that was kind of where my thoughts went with this one. I kind of wanted to do an ombre look. I had just got this die, and I thought I want to try to use that. And of course, I made the mistake of watching Tim Holtz's video with these dies,
So
a
then
couple
you needed
days
them.
before that, and it's like, okay, well now I have to do it.
So that's one of his new vault dies for
Yes.
the holidays. And what's the name
This
of that
one is called Winter Wishes, Vault Winter Wishes.
Winter Wishes.
And so, the star you can see is a great
You
size.
did a really nice
I
job
love
on the
I
star.
love the skates. The skates are that was really why I bought the whole set, was because I love the skates. And I don't even ice skate, but I just love them. So I
So
bought
did
them.
you ever ice skate like as a kid?
No, I've never ice skated.
Okay.
I've never even had a pair of ice skates on. I was a roller skater.
Oh, okay.
We did a lot of roller skating when I was growing up because we had a roller rink right in town, not too far from where I
nice.
live. So a lot of roller skating, never ice skating. But I just love the look of the skates. And so I thought, well, I want to try to do that. I just think it's really pretty. And so I thought, well, if I used one of these bigger tags, I'm going to have room for the snowflake, I'm going to have room for the ice skate, and I'm going to be able to do this, kind of an ombre look. So I
really
just
cool.
found, I actually was going to start, you can see the back of it. I was actually going to kind
You were gonna
of
ink
go with
it and
ink,
then
and then I
went
thought, that's not working so well. So,
Oh, gosh,
sometimes, the first ideas don't work and you have to use an alternate plan. And so I just picked, 4 different shades of purple that I thought were really pretty to use. You can use any color you want. If you want to use blues or you want to use, other neutral colors or something like that as your back. Whatever colors you love, go with that. Just do it. I think pinks would be really pretty on there too for the holidays. But yeah, just 4 different ones. And I just cut 1/2-inch strips again.
So
and
these are 1/2-inch
They're all
strips.
1/2-inch strips. I started in about the middle where I made the division between, the lighter and the darker. And that's where I laid my first pieces. And that was kind of where I started and went down and then worked up as well.
So tell us the names of the purples. We've got
The
some people here
purples
that
are-
love purple.
Wisteria,
Wisteria.
and that's from Basil. And then this one is a doodlebug color, and it is
Is it lilac?
also wisteria.
Oh, it's off. Oh
so,
my gosh.
So wisteria, basil,
So if you remember wisteria, you've got 2 of them right away.
doodlebug. And then I have purple palisades and heather.
Heather.
So wisteria, purple palisades, heather
Okay.
are the 4 that I used. And then I just used kind of a cream colored cardstock for the skate. I used the gold. It's kind of a flatter gold. It is called Antique Star Dream, but it's an antique gold that I used. It's more of a matte finish
Yeah, it's
than the
kind of a
shiny
brushed-
finish.
kind of a brushed metallic.
Right, and this is the gold that I use throughout. So to back the car, to back most of the projects and things like this, this was the metallic that I used through most of them. And
Oh
so,
my gosh, Peggy. It's
and then this is one of the doodlebug petite prints.
prints.
Yeah, and then a darker purple, which was in my scraps, so I can't take what
Well, that's
color
all
that one
right.
is.
That's okay.
And then the snowflake back here, the back snowflake, because I do have 2 layers of snowflake in there, that is also cut from the doodlebug.
So you
print.
did the snowflake in purple and then gold and then shifted it and popped the gold up.
Yep, and I have dimensional tape
It's
behind the
beautiful.
gold. And you'll see that also in the snowflake, and if you haven't watched Tim's video yet, this was kind of an aha moment for me while I was watching it. When I cut my gold snowflake out, these little heart-shaped pieces right here, I took one and put it right down here.
Oh, okay. All right.
skate.
Here we go. So right there, the little pieces that come out of there, and she put one right here on the skate.
Right there.
You know, he probably did that on purpose.
Yes, I think so. I think he did. I think some of his makers did that. Now, it was also a trick to figure out how to lace up the skate, but I just...
And you're our stitchery gal.
Yeah, you know, I just threaded some, you know, purple twine and just kind of went with the needle all the way through. So the holes are already pre-punched on it. When you die cut it, the holes are there, so you don't have to worry about, okay, where do I put the holes? They're already there. You just kind of stitch it up and tie it at the top. So
they're very cool.
So yeah, so I mean, very cute, very easy. Brushed corduroy ink is what I use to kind of highlight that. And then again, I wanted to bring my gold in through here, and this was out of this die.
And this is another vault die, but you'll have.
This is called Holiday Classic.
So Holiday Classic. Okay.
And so I use this die right here, and then I use this one right here. You can kind of see the dark purple, and that's that right there.
Well, Cheryl says amazing, and I totally agree with her.
And then the word peace I just cut out twice and shadowed. I kind of like how that looked. I just wanted to kind of bring that down. And then just a stamp I had at home. This is a Simple Stories one from maybe 2 years ago that I used on that, but it worked.
Peggy, when I walked up to the table this morning, that's what jumped out at me. I mean, all of your projects are amazing, but the purple just...
you know, and I'm not even a purple person, but I just really loved how this turned out.
It did turn out.
Just really
Good idea to do an ombre with the strips.
And then I just took Tim Holtz bells up here.
Oh, and we got the bells in,
and
everybody.
You know, I am bow and not challenged, but I challenged my inner Katie here and put that together. So you know, just a combination to bring all those colors in there. And then I also did take a little bit of purple twine to hang the skates
I think it's really cool how you have them
you can really
hanging, and the way you've positioned them, they look like they're hanging.
So
pretty good for a non-skater.
Right. And then, you know, splattered. Oh, the other thing, I don't know if you can see it, but, you know, I talked about wanting to use stencils more. I use Lost Shadow and stenciled snowflakes in kind of a diagonal direction on there. I don't know if the camera can pick up on that.
No, we can see it now, but I think it's one of those things that's there and makes it better, but it doesn't jump out at you.
But it gives it a little bit of texture too, so I kind of like that, how that looked. But yeah, I wanted to use that, and again, like I said, this is just Lost Shadow ink. I think it just, you know, it didn't add a lot of extra color to take away from what everything else that was on it. So, but I liked how it just added just that little bit, and then splattered it with the white acrylic paint.
Everyone's loving it, Peggy.
So,
and we're getting lots of reports on who skated, who roller skated, who ice skated. We got water skiers.
I tried that once or twice.
I
was not successful. Not successful at that
so
one.
It's really fun to see that, and I think it also just makes us all look back and kind of remember those times, which is fun, and that's you know, that's what we want to do here at Memory Bound.
Exactly.
So for those of you that are just joining us, today we got Peggy here, and she took one of the cards that I received a year ago when I broke my ankle, and she took it as the inspiration and ran with it. And we've already seen 5 projects that she made with it, and we're not done.
Nope.
So don't go away. We've got more to show you.
A few more to go.
And the card, I can't remember if I just said it or not, but it was from Bonnie. And you can tell the gold paper. I don't even know if Bonnie's watching today. She's maybe not watching live, but hopefully she'll watch us later.
Yeah, I hope so, because she really is. She's very creative. She makes gorgeous things. And when I saw that card was from her, she's just very inspirational to me.
I think
just
that was
really
part of
love
the reason
gold.
why you wanted to do the card.
I think it was. I really enjoyed it. Well, we're going to go to Christmas now. We did winter. We're going to go to Christmas. Frank Garcia, Prima Marketing.
Gotta love Frank, everybody.
Yep. And this one, I really liked this line because I like the pinks in it. Why? I don't know. Probably because I don't get a design with pink very often because I have boys. But I really liked it. You know, it had like that old world Santa Claus that I really liked. And so on this, a card and a coaster with this line. And again, this was just done, I did vary the widths
Yeah, I like
of the
that.
paper on this one. This is like 3/4 of an inch and then 1/4 of an inch.
So would you have started with the 3/4 of an inch
I
strip?
always
and then,
start in the middle.
In the middle?
In the middle, because that way I know that it's going to, the bottom half and the top half are going to be equal.
Okay.
So I'm always going to start in the middle. Just to balance it out and give it some symmetry. And on this one, I did want to try to use, the varied widths. And then I think I kept it the same going up and down. Yeah, so the paper is in the same order coming up as it is going down, I think.
Oh, I see. Yes, it is.
So,
Symmetrical.
yeah, so I wanted to keep it that way. And I just really liked how it turned out. And then I just used my brush corduroy ink, which I think just blends really well with this matte gold on here.
I think it does too. That was a really good choice.
So I think if I had tried something, because the brush corduroy has just a little bit of that gold in it, where like if you go with like the vintage photo or the gathered twigs, you're going more toward a darker brown, I think, where this is going to give you just a little more gold. So I think it works well with the gold
Ring the bell,
papers.
Peggy. I think we need to get a brush corduroy. Have somebody get us one to show us.
Brush corduroy distress ink.
Becky's all over it.
So I did use that, and anytime I used ink on any of these projects, I did use the brush corduroy because that is my
Well, I agree that
go-to.
it lends itself really well with the gold.
I do too.
And Becky just brought it, and she says she loves.
guess
Well,
what?
look at it with this
Guess
paper.
what? I already had it here.
Oh, you had it. I didn't see it. She's already on the ball. So, and look at just with the gold.
Yeah.
So if you are doing something within the golds or the warmer tones, think about brush corduroy.
Yeah.
That's a color that kind of gets overlooked a lot.
And, it's a little bit lighter, a little bit softer, I think, especially, if you're unsure about inking things, if you don't do a lot of inking on things, I think, and you want to add just a little bit of it, I think the brush corduroy allows you to do that without becoming overwhelming
That's a really
to
good
you.
point. I totally
So,
agree.
I think that's probably why I like it, because it's just a little bit lighter.
You're not a super dark inker
I'm
person.
not, but sometimes, paper does tell me to, you look at the paper and say, oh, that needs the darker color. This just needed the lighter color, and so that's what I liked about that.
And we have a question about, this is the 25 in peppermint from Frank Garcia. And we have a bit of it in stock, but I'm just, we're asking about when we're going to get some of it back. And it is not even in stock at our vendor right now. It's on back order. So and it has no dates. A lot of times they'll say, oh, it's going to be back on September 30th or something. And there's no dates. So we've got it coming, but we just don't know for sure when it's going to be coming.
It really,
So
and
if
we
you-
do have some
so-
12 by 12 in it too.
So no pressure, but if you love it and you want to get this, get it right away, since we're not sure when it's going to be back.
Okay, so then the coaster, when you look at your 6x6 pads, and I'm just going to tear this out. The great thing about this pad, you get 4 of each one. So
4?
Yeah,
Oh
so
my
feel
gosh.
free to cut
Thank
into
you,
it.
Frank.
Feel free to cut into it. When I was looking, at doing a coaster, and I was kind of looking at the paper and what was in it and things like that, I saw this sheet.
Oh.
And I thought, well, this would make a really cool coaster, be really neat. But it's not wide enough to go all the way across, which was okay because I still wanted to do something on the diagonal. So I just kind of trimmed it down, trimmed them across. I had to cut off a little bit of the bottom there to fit on there. But that's what went on this side of the coaster.
Okay, I'm seeing your
Okay.
strips now.
Alrighty.
I didn't catch it before, Peggy.
Okay, so then what I did, once I trimmed that off, I laid it on the coaster. I didn't adhere it yet. I just laid it on there. And I took a pencil and I drew a line straight down where this was going to be and set it aside. And then I took my strips. And you'll see my strips, I do have some 1/2 inch ones. I have a few thinner ones on there too. And then I took 1/8 inch strips of gold and laid it on some of those too, just to bring out a little bit of highlight.
yes.
And laid it on top of the 1/2 inch. I didn't, pile one on top of the other, but you could if you wanted to. And I only cut them to go to that pencil line. So they don't go all the way across the page. They only go to that pencil
So it
line.
buds up next to the
Right.
paper. And then what is this skinny little strip
And the
there?
skinny little strip is actually from this collection. And it is this little strip right
Oh
at the
my
top.
gosh.
I just cut that.
You were so good at cutting skinny things.
So I just cut that with my trimmer. And if you have the little guillotine trimmer, the Tim Holtz guillotine one, it will, let me grab my thing. It's really good about cutting skinny strips.
Oh, the skinny
If you
strips.
need shorter skinny strips, this is really good about
So
cutting
that's
these.
the 6, I believe it's 6 1/4 inch trimmer.
Yep.
And it's $24.99, and we do have those in stock if
Yeah.
you want to get one.
But yeah, that's really easy to cut with. So, and that's why I put that down just to kind of cover the seam between the strips, because I mean your edges aren't always straight here, and you're not going to trim. You just want to butt it up against it, and then that will cover it when you bring this on top of it. And so then after that, then I just went back to my Tim Holtz die. You know, cutting the well with the gold paper, because you have to bring that metallic in. If Bonnie's your inspiration, you have to have that metallic. Again, with the pine leaves in there too, and the little poinsettia. I did the larger one, just one of the larger one.
I like it how you're able to use the same die. I mean, you did this with just one die set, and that die set happens to be $20.99,
Yes.
and you're getting a lot
so
of
versatile.
action out of it.
Oh,
Just
I'm
move
sorry.
your microphone down.
Okay.
You'll be fine. I think it's when, okay, we got Peggy's microphone. We're
Maybe
getting
it's when I come
messages that it's a little muffled when she leans forward, but if you
Okay.
put it down here in the front, you'll be fine.
My necklace keeps getting on the magnet.
It's probably, okay, so what
All
we
right,
were
I'll try to
talking
be
about
better.
was Peggy showed the die set that she used, which is another vault die. And it's only $20.99, but you've used it in multiple places.
I do. You know, I did. I used the same
You
die
used it
sets
on your
over and
tag, your skates.
Yep. I used it on
Well,
that.
use the word here.
Uh-huh.
And the green. Well, I don't know if the green. Yeah, and the greenery. Which
Yep,
is
I use the greenery.
purpley and the goldie.
Yep. Yep, I use the green. And a lot of times when I look at dyes, when I go to purchase dyes, I look to see what kind of greenery they have on them. Whether it's
Peggy, I'm not
summerish or
I'm not
or
surprised
winterish.
at that at all.
I look at that because I know that those are the pieces I'm going to use to layer. So, and they're easy to use, and I can cut multiples, and like here, oops, where's my I have a package here that has like a bunch that I cut out of dyes, and I just store it in
in the
with
package,
the package,
yeah.
so it's there when
That's
I
a
go
good
to use
idea.
it. So that's these two.
Those are beautiful.
Frank
People
Garcia,
are loving them,
thank you,
Peggy.
Frank.
The hearts are flying in, and there's comments. Janie says, stunning, 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 stunning.
Well, thank you.
And Chris said they're beautiful.
Thank you.
And I think we got Peggy's microphone fixed. We moved
Okay.
it forward. So I think we're good with that, everybody.
Okay. Alrighty.
And we got a few more to show
Okay.
you, so don't go away.
Alrighty. Well, let's go to this, and then I'm going to show you how to do it before I go to this one.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So we're going to show this one next. This is done using the 49 and Market Artropic. Is that right? Artropic Spice.
It's Art Options Spice.
Spice. Okay. Line. And the paper underneath that I used here, it looks like wood grain paper. So if you have wood grain paper and you don't want to do the diagonal, you certainly can. But what I did was just cut strips from a Color Vibe paper, half-inch strips.
Just the Color Vibe
of
warm,
my Color
looks like
Vibe.
warm white.
And then this is actually inked with gathered twigs, because that's what I had on my table when I was kind of putting things together. But this was what I started with to create this, and the rest of it is all rub-ons.
Oh my gosh.
So we're going to just do that really quick for
Okay.
you here.
So when you
Okay.
get your stuff out, I'm going to give them a little up close look.
Yep.
So this is strips of paper, but they're all the same paper.
Yep.
And Peggy inked the edges, so it looks like you have wood planks.
Yep.
Ooh, I like it.
Okay.
It's really pretty.
All right. So now for
just
all
want
of
to
my
rub it.
project, like all of the cards, anything that I want my my diagonal to be on, that isn't going to go across like a whole page. Like I don't want it to be the entire front of the card. If it's only going to be this one part, I'm going to cut a base for that.
Okay.
And for all of these cards, the base was cut 3.5 by 4.5.
3.5 by
3.5 by
so that
4.5.
would be this card, and it gives her, it's nice because you have room for a skinny mat, and then you have kind of a frame.
Yep.
your card front, and this one would be the same size.
Yep, 3.5 by 4.5 on all of the cards is what I used.
And you're just putting adhesive all
And
over
I'm just
it?
putting adhesive all over it. And I use, Janet's favorite adhesive here, the repositionable, because I may have to reposition some of it. And then what I start with is, and you can go this way, you can go this way, whichever way you want to go is going to work. There's no right or wrong to it. And so I'm going to start, and I'm going to center my strip with the top corner of the card. And I'm going to bring it to center it with the bottom corner of the card.
Okay, so corner to corner.
So there's my start. Then I'm just going to take my next one.
And you're overlapping. It's going over the edge a little bit, everybody.
They're all going over the edge because I'm going to trim those off.
See, I thought you would put adhesive on each one, but I like, this is kind of slick.
I
like
started
this.
to, and then I thought, why
Then
am I
you
doing
found a better
this?
way.
Because then I have to guess at where, the adhesive is going to meet the card base.
Thank you for finding a better way for all of us, Peggy.
So much easier this way. And then I just trim that off.
We had, while you're cutting that, we had a question earlier about our sample sale flea market where all the proceeds are going to the local food bank.
Absolutely.
And the question had to do with donations. And if you want to make a donation, you can. We've basically got all kinds of samples and projects and things that maybe we've shown on these morning videos. And Maggie was so kind. She put everything in bags and put barcodes and prices on them. So if you come into the store, you can pick out things that you like and you want. And when you pay for it, we'll be keeping track of all of that. And then everything will be donated. So I hope that answered the question.
Okay. And here's another kind of cool trick when it comes to...
We love tricks.
Comes to this. You'll see that I trimmed off these edges here as I've gone. And look at the edge of this.
Oh,
And
that is a cool
see.
trick.
And look at how it fits right on here.
Peggy, that's a great tip.
Because I'm, just trimming to the same thing. So that's going to fit
It's
right
the
there.
same angle.
Same angle.
So Peggy's making this. Or any wood plank. You could go. You don't have to be diagonal either. You can go straight across.
Right. So all of that's going to work. And again,
that looks great.
What I started with was just 3 half-inch strips of paper.
There's 4 sheets of each design.
And Janet just put in a comment, which is a really good one, that you could also take what Peggy's making here and take your rectangle die, and you could cut out, especially if you have a stitched one that you really like.
Yep.
And you could just then die cut it after you get your
And
strips
and
on.
if you have a stitched one, you can use that as your mat too.
Oh sure,
To add a little bit of. Okay, now I do have the little corners, and I won't do it now. But what I did at home was I just took a little bit of whatever I had here, and I just put some. And I put a little bit of glue on it to hold it, just because it's just so, tiny.
So you just find a little piece and then cut around it.
Right. And my adhesive isn't all the way to the edge there, but for
we get the
today,
idea. We got the
okay.
idea, Peggy.
So
This
then I'm
looks
going to
great.
decide. I'm going to put a little bit of background on here.
So these are the rub-ons from Art Options Spice.
Yep.
And this is actually last year's collection, but we brought it back in because it's just too beautiful not to.
Right.
And
I mean, the pinks and purples and oranges, gorgeous,
you get 6 sheets for $11.99. And that piece there is out of here too. So you get shapes and words and flowers and really fun pumpkins.
And leaves.
And this came out of there.
Yeah, that came out of there.
Oh gosh.
And they rub off so easily and so nicely.
We like our 49 and Market.
We really
stuff.
do. They're wonderful. They're just so pretty.
So, and again, this collection is discontinued. We've got a bit of it in stock. We've got the paper, the Bubbles and Bobbles, the 6x8 paper, the rub-ons. I think we have some chipboard words. And we have the film strips, which you really,
Yeah, the
they're
film
not
strips
doing
are
film
nice.
strips anymore. They're
Darn
mixed
it,
in.
too.
You can
I
get them
really
in
like
the
art.
acetate packs, but you can't get a full pack.
I know, I had to hoard mine. And now I'm afraid to use them.
I know, isn't that funny how we are as crafters?
Yep. Okay.
So Peggy's adding
Yep.
rub-ons. Oh, nice.
Missed a little bit of that one. But this is just, you know, I mean, it goes so quick and easy.
Well, and rub-ons are nice because they look like they are been printed on your page.
Right?
And you can even put them on photos if you want.
And you can layer them. You can layer
Yeah,
one on
that's
top of
nice.
another. And I really like that because on my sample card, you can see kind of where I put the
So this is on
word.
top of your floral piece.
Right. So yeah, you can layer them. So even, you know, if you're doing like a grouping of elements, you know, together, you can layer one over the top and just give it just that little extra. So I won't rub that on.
And
for now.
Peggy, we have a
Just do that.
question about your adhesive. Is they're asking about if it's repositionable.
I used the repositionable on this. Yes, I did.
So
Because you never know when you're going to have to adjust it.
People might not realize it, but a lot of us have this red Scrapbook Adhesives is the brand, and it's got different refills. And this happens to be, if you get the green one, if you're shopping online, the green one is repositionable. And it comes in the regular size also. Peggy's got the super duper big one.
I have 3 handles at home, 3 of these handles at home.
Oh, you do?
I do. One for the repositionable, one for the blue, one
is
that
the
is the
permanent
dot,
dots.
which is permanent, and then one for the red, which is the little strips. That
And you just grab the one you want.
Yep, I have them all 3 on my table all the time, and just use them as I need to. Whatever I think the project calls for is the one that I grab first.
Oh my gosh,
So
look at
here's
that.
the card. So
Oh, you even have a mat ready. Oh, all right.
do.
Rachel Ray here. Ready to go.
I sometimes am prepared for things, not always, but sometimes.
I think you're prepared today.
I'm learning. I even did it. I even prepared last night instead of this
Wow.
morning. So
I'm
things are
impressed,
looking up.
Peggy.
There we go. Here's your card
Oh, that looks good.
today.
Here, stick it on the back of here.
back.
Just, I mean, you don't attach it, but just so people can see it.
There we go.
Looks good. Oh my gosh, that looks amazing.
So
Who
yeah,
would have
that's
thought
how
that
quick and
you
easy
would-
that was.
Who would have thought you'd go from? Let's see, where's Bonnie's card?
Yeah.
So we've started with Bonnie's card, and now we've made wood planks. And we've got a few more things.
Yep. Okay.
3 more things
3
to
more
show
things. So we're gonna
everybody.
go
So
real
don't
quick
go
here.
away,
Yeah,
everyone.
Don't go. Okay, so next we're going to go to a tag. So you can use the same thing with a tag. And what I did with this was real similar to what I did with the coaster, because I'm only covering a part of this. So I cut my 1/2-inch strips. And then I cut 1/8-inch, just to highlight some of those, just because I like the look and texture of it.
That's so
But
cute.
I only wanted it to go halfway across. I wanted to kind of create a herringbone effect because it's all diagonal. I drew a pencil line down the middle, and then I took one side and I laid it all out on one side, and then I took my X-Acto knife and a ruler and cut to make that straight. Now you have to be really careful because you don't want to cut all the way through your tag
Yeah, that's
on
tricky.
here. So you do have to be a little careful with that. You only want to cut and have enough pressure to cut, just the one layer of paper on here. And thankfully these tags are a little bit thicker. They're a little bit heavier weight. So it does take a lot of pressure to cut through the paper and the tag.
I didn't realize you did it that way. Oh my
So
gosh.
that's how I did. That's the way that I found worked for me. I did that, and then to line it all up so it would be even, I started at about the middle, and I lined up like one of these strips with one of these strips so that they were facing each other, so that 1/2-inch and 1/2-inch came together.
Okay, so
there.
you've got the same size.
And drew a line
coming out
from here
each
to
other.
here to make sure that the angle was the same. So it took a little bit of thought to start with, but it all worked out.
Hey, Becky. Hey,
Becky.
Oh,
Sorry, I apologize for
Yep,
that.
that's okay.
Alrighty.
So it took a little bit of
You're welcome.
practice, just thought to kind of do that.
Right.
But the thought was to have the herringbone look to it. So, and then I just used, and this paper actually came from Echo
Oh,
Park.
yeah. Oh, it's Echo Park.
It's Echo Park, so I wanted, kind of, a little spooky little thing going. So I just used a few different ones from this line here. But then
and which it looks totally different because you didn't use any of the like the green.
right, I just used the blacks and the oranges
once
out of it.
again.
And then I used this little guy.
And that is the Scary Stories page pieces. And that skeleton's really fun.
Yeah.
I've used their ephemera, the skeleton in the ephemera, and
And then
he's just
these
cute.
came from the sticker sheet from
Scary
the
Stories?
Scary Stories.
It's really cute, Peggy.
Yep.
You've done some amazing things.
So there's that one. So that was
I'd say Memory Bound is pretty lucky to have Peggy, and more lucky that Peggy retired from a real job this year.
okay.
Oh
Now my
gosh,
next
that is
one
beautiful.
is I decided that I wanted to take.
Oh,
I thought, what happens if I want to take a cut apart and do it? What if there's something on a cut apart that I really like?
How did you even think of
So
this?
so what I did, I just took this cut apart. I cut it to my 2.5 by, or I'm sorry, my 3.5 by 4.5.
Okay.
So it's a 6 by 4 cut apart, but I cut it down. So 4.5 by 3.5.
Okay.
And then I cut it on the diagonal to get that line. So I cut it on the diagonal after I cut it down to 3.5 by 4.5.
Amazing.
So that's what started. That was the base
Peggy,
of that.
you are so darn creative.
And then I just took, I don't know if I have the right.
This looks like one of the solids.
Yep. So then I just took the solid
And it's solid
and just
number
cut
3.
1/2-inch strip and ink the edges of it again. And then just cut that and then fill the rest of it in. So this was the cut apart and then this was the strip. So this was the line, again, through the middle that gave me the my guideline for the diagonal on that one.
Oh my gosh.
Rub on right here, ephemera right here. Quick and easy that
And
way.
so that's all from Vintage Orchard.
All from Vintage Orchard, yep, which I think is just gorgeous. I love the
It
fall
is.
colors in Vintage Orchard.
Well, great job, Katie Petite, for her designs.
Yes.
And we do have a really good selection of Vintage Orchard. So
Yes.
if you are
And it's so
wanting
pretty.
to get a beautiful fall line
So,
or
so
for
pretty.
other things too,
Yeah.
check it out.
So pretty. And so then, because I really like the colors in the Vintage Orchard, because they're kind of my color palette, right? And then I had these great pictures of Max, my grandson, my younger grandson. He's kind
Dawn
of an ornery
wants to
little
be
guy.
Peggy when she grows up. I've missed a whole bunch of messages because I looked back. And then, okay, so we've got and this is Max.
This is Max.
Oh, look at
This
his
is last
thumbs
year.
up.
Look at that. That is so his personality. But what I wanted to do on this one was to show that you could take the same diagonal design concept and you could put it on a larger format, so like your layout here. And so what I did on this one, I just took the Simple Vintage Orchard.
And that's
solid.
solids number 5.
I took that one and I just used one of the pattern sheets, and I'm not sure which one it is because it looks like that on the back, but I'm
Got
not
the
sure which
butterflies
one,
on
yeah.
the back.
And I'm not sure. I couldn't find the strip from the bottom of it
That's okay.
to
We
figure
get
out
the
which one it
idea.
was. But you can use any of them. I mean, they're just all so pretty. I mean, how pretty are these? The checks on here. I mean, any of those would work, as a background. And so I just started cutting
So-
1/2 inch or
Oh, they're 1/2 inch
they're,
or the
they're
1 inch
actually
strips?
1-inch strips.
Okay.
So, I could get 12 out of this. No, there's a little gnat flying around. It took me 10 of them to get across this. Get the little gnat
So it
out of there.
took 10
10 1-inch
1-inch
strips.
strips.
But I cut the 1-inch strips. I inked all the edges. My base for this is 10.5 by 10.5. Now, I will tell you that when you lay one of these strips across this, this 12-inch strip does not go all the way across.
Oh, okay.
So
good to know.
if I were to take these photos off, you'll see in the middle that it's empty. That's okay. What I did was I drew a line from this corner to this corner, and that was my guideline. So I just cut a couple of these strips in half, so they're 6 and 6, and laid it in either direction, you know, so they're even.
So they met. They
So they
would have
wouldn't-
met if they were longer.
If they're long enough. But, you know, they didn't have to go all
Nobody's
the
gonna
way.
know.
No one knows that, because if I didn't tell you, you wouldn't know it. But if you're going to, you know, do this, you need to know that the strips are not going to go all the way across, and you don't have to piece them or anything. Just leave that open if that's where you want your pictures to go. If you want your pictures to go a little bit higher, you know, cut it 8 and 4 or whatever. But mine were cut 6 and 6. And so then I just, you know, laid them all out that way. Of course, as I got, you know, up toward these outer corners, you know, the strips didn't have to be quite as long, so they're the full strips that I could use. And then again, just like on the card, I just trimmed the edges off on that.
That's really amazing.
And then I just took 1/8-inch strips of gold, because I wanted to incorporate the gold a little bit more, and just laid those.
And they're just kind
Across.
of random.
They are. There is no rhyme or reason to it. I just needed to have that extra bit of color in there. And again,
really
you'll
neat
see.
background.
Again, you'll see. You know how the brush corduroy just really picks up that gold. And then, you know, I showed before how to do, you know, the 1/4-inch strips of the faux framing on it with the faux miter
And that
quarters.
is a Peggy style.
So I did that. These are cut. This is 10 and a half. These are cut to 11 inches all the way around. So you can do that. And then just kind of miter that corner a little bit. But easy, easy, easy to do that. And then I just laid out, you know, my pictures. I used the frames from
From Vintage Orchard.
Vintage Orchard. I used one of the large ones to frame that photo, because I kind of wanted to highlight that, because I just love his little smile on that. And then, just
I
like,
think him standing there with his hand in his
I know.
pocket. I mean, I'm guessing the photographer tells you to do that too, but it's
this is so him. That is just so
really
him.
funny.
And I loved how, you know, the colors in his clothes, you know, the green
I know,
jeans.
they're perfect. And the background?
And the background, perfect for Vintage Orchard. I just loved it. And then I just used, you know, the ephemera pieces. Is that right?
there's the
That's
thankful. Yep, there's the
Just,
thankful,
you know,
and fall days, and the butterfly.
Uh-huh.
No,
The gold right here is it's the matte. It's antique gold.
do you want the shimmer gold?
Yeah, you can.
You want the shimmer gold, right?
It's kind of
Okay,
matte.
I had the wrong one.
Okay. So, just you know,
Peggy, this is
the
very
different
sweet.
pieces out of the ephemera package, and then these leaves and, you know, these butterfly pieces. They came from the laser cut.
Lasers?
And then the other thing that I did, I found in the laser cuts these little magnolias, and I thought those were
You
just a
tuck
really
them
nice
in?
little, because to bring out the color in a shirt.
Well, I
thought that
also
was
think
good.
white, when you have something white, that it makes everything else pop.
Yeah. And then the other thing I did was, in the ephemera package, you get, you know, these little banners, you know, that are kind of curved through there. I think you get like 5 of them. Well, I liked the brown in one, but I didn't need the same, you know,
So you
that it
just
had on
doubled
there.
it up?
So I just doubled
Oh
it just
my
to give it some
gosh.
layer and some shadow to it. So that was
What a good
that was
idea.
another thing to do. So if you know, if you like that shape and you want a little bit of shadow to it,
Yeah, I like it.
that'll work.
It
So-
turned out really nice.
The collection pack.
And how you incorporated Bonnie's design into a layout
Yep.
and made it a Peggy.
And then just use the warm
Little pearls.
pearls from Honeybee on there.
Very, very nice. Oh my gosh. Wow. This was a
we
lot.
got through it.
This was a lot. So we started out with a card that I received from Bonnie. Peggy took this design and ran with it, and I mean ran a marathon with it. And she showed us the patriotic card that she made with it. Beth says cuteness overload.
Oh, well, thank you, Beth.
She made the tag with the Tim Holtz die.
That
and
was
the
really one of
skates.
my favorites.
It really jumps out at you.
I think that one was just a little bit kind of out of my box, so to speak.
Little
It's
different
not
for
really
ya.
a design I always
I don't
do.
know that I've seen you use purple before.
No, you haven't. You haven't. I don't.
She used the Harvest from Cardabella and made a couple cards and a coaster with
Yes.
Diane's pumpkin pattern.
Yep. And they all look very different.
They do.
All from the
It's
same pad, though.
It's the same collection. It's crazy.
Yep. Washi tape.
It's crazy. Yep, and she did one with washi tape.
Yep.
She just showed us the layout that she made with 1-inch strips and vintage orchard.
Which one is this metallic that you use?
And she
Becky
showed
took
us
it, and it's
the tag she
antique
made with the
gold.
skeleton.
It's matte.
Okay, so Becky has it.
She's got a coaster and a card with the Frank Garcia 25 and peppermint,
Yep.
which Becky, I'm thinking Becky because she was just here. Peggy commented that she doesn't get to use pink very often since she's got grandsons. Then she showed us how to make wood planks and use the rub-ons from the Art Option Spice collection, which was really cool. Now we know how to do
Yep.
that
I did both of those.
with the technique. Oh yeah, there's the back. I forgot. There's the
Yep.
back. Actually, that's the front. And then took a 4x6 cut apart and trimmed it down to, is it 3.5 by 4.5?
3.5 by 4.5. That was the base for all of them.
And then cut a diagonal line across there and did the technique along the bottom. Oh my gosh. Well, I think, Peggy, I think this is a
The
success.
herringbone.
Yep, and I showed this
Okay.
when you were talking to someone or looking at something, and we did the herringbone with the skeleton from Scary Stories, and the paper was not from Scary Stories,
No.
but from Spooktacular Halloween. And we've got a lot of stuff going on here
Yeah,
on the
we do.
table. And Peggy, thank you so
Yes,
very
you're
much.
welcome. It was fun.
This,
I enjoyed it.
everybody loved this. You inspired a lot of people. What a great technique.
You know, and like for everybody coming to the crop, or if you're cropping at home this weekend or whatever, when you get your first project done or whatever project, and you've got some leftover strips,
Yeah.
try it out. Try it
Even
out.
if you just make the background, if you
Yes.
just make your little 3.5 by 4.5 pieces,
Yes.
then they're ready to go for you. So
Quick
the
and easy.
hearts are flowing in. Thank you, Peggy, a whole bunch. Thanks to everyone for watching. Tomorrow we're going to be back and we'll probably be showing new product that we're trying to fit out in the store right now, and we will be videotaping from the retreat in the morning. So we'll see you then, and make sure I didn't miss any comments. And I will take pictures, and Janet will get it on our blog for us too. So have a great Crafty Thursday, everyone, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Crafting more in 24.
That's right.